And they said to one another, let us go and make brick and burn them thoroughly. And that they brick for stone and slime and so on and so forth. And then when they came down, when the Lord came down, they saw that they were building the city as well as this huge tower. And what was the one thing that he needed to do to stop the whole process? Could have done an earthquake. But instead, he confused the languages. Now, here's the thing. Why did you just do an earthquake and just knock everything down? No, you got to take care of the language. Because here's what the Lord showed me.
Yeah, and people are trying to use that same method today. If you say something like, hey, Jesus Christ is against men marrying men, it's like, oh, that's a weapon of war and all this. Well, yeah, they're probably foreshadowing something that God used because he spoke everything into existence with his words. So yes, there is power. Words do hurt. They do hurt. Sticks and stones break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie. It's not true. Words can hurt you. Words can get you into trouble.
Yes.
If you say, I deny Jesus Christ, that could get you into trouble. You don't think your words don't hurt you? You have to be careful. That's why Jesus said, stop, I'm paraphrasing, stop making stupid vows. Like really. Like just let your yes be yes and no, no. Move away from that where you're like, I swear to God on my Bible, I will be there next week. I promise, come hell or high water. And it's like, well, you don't know when you're done here. Stop saying that. Instead, say the Lord willing. If I will be here, if I'll be here next week or on the next show, whatever it is, according to his will. We don't know what tomorrow is. Today has enough problems. Yeah. So today is the day of salvation. Don't put it off till tomorrow. Don't be silly. And we're not telling you not to plan. It's not what we're saying. But don't be silly and be so prideful that you're like, nothing's going to happen to me. Like, I don't need that gobbledygoo, Jesus Christ, superstar stuff, whatever. I don't need anything to do with him. I'll just make it. I'll just have enough firearms in my home. I'll store up enough Tweeties, Twinkles, whatever, Twinkies, Tweeties, them two, you know, and then I'll just survive on my own until the end. And then I'll rise out of a cave. Like, it's bizarre.
Pride goeth before a fall. It also says that it's not what goes into a man that defiles him. It's what comes out because it's from your heart. And also it says for you, Bob, another Bible verse about if you can control your tongue, you can control your whole body. So it's what we say is so powerful. We know how words hurt people and can destroy people.
Right now, it's amplifying right now because we're so close. We're so close to that. And, you know, those words, the amplification of what we say, you know, to one another. And I mean, we've just got to be on guard right now because the enemy is just wanting to stir things up so much right now. And I mean, it's so surreal at this point, you know, when, you know, you just go out to Walmart or something, you know, and people still cannot see it. And we're looking at this. And I mean, we feel like, I mean, this tsunami, it's fixing to crash just any day. And it's like, why don't you people see? Don't, you know, I mean, so many people that I talk to, and it's like there's this veil or something, you know. It's just it's like you just want to, like in the book of Jude, just want to just snatch them out, you know, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. I mean, it's just it just goes all over me, you know, with you know some that are close to me, and they're just, you know, when it talks about like the water, and it's like, you know, oh well, you know, the AI's, you know, going to use up all the water. No, look how many servers the government has, and you know, and they're already using. It's not going to use anymore. And I'm like, whoa. Anyway, we're here, folks. I mean, today is the day of salvation. I mean, don't wait till tomorrow.
it's eerily similar to the days of Noah. Like we're
Yes.
approaching it where it's like everybody's just kind of carrying on. And it does feel like we're crying out like Chicken Little, the sky's falling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it is kind of falling right now. You just look around you,
I know.
but people that are okay today, they're like, yeah, no, there's nothing going on here. There's nothing to see here. And that echoes that time frame where people were giving in marriage and marrying and all this kind of stuff. It's not that was wrong what they were doing. It was the wrong time to do it. Because there's a time for marrying, there's a time for everything else under the sun. But that time wasn't while Noah was building the ark. The time was to get on the ark with Noah. Instead, they mocked him. And he was preaching every time he hammered a nail into the board, he was preaching condemnation to the whole world.
Yeah.
With words. Speaking of words, we talked about earlier that the words that you say carry weight in the spiritual realm. Okay, that's God made us in his image, and that would mean then there are certain things that we do that may also reflect what God does, and God controls things in this realm with words, in the spiritual realm with words. So with that being said, Tower of Babel, all right, see a lot of stuff about that coming out right now, and we all think it was just a tower, which it was, but I think there was something else that was a major component of it. You had a tower, and you had a voice that went with this thing. Okay. And the voice, the language was important because you go to Genesis chapter 11, verse 1, it says, and the whole earth was one language and one speech. It's talking about speech and language. And then verse 2 says, and it came to pass, they journeyed from the east, and they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, let us go and make brick and burn them thoroughly, and that they brick for stone and slime and so on and so forth. And then when the Lord came down, they saw that they were building a city as well as this huge tower. And what was the one thing that he needed to do to stop the whole process? Could have done an earthquake, but instead he confused the languages. Now, here's the thing. Why did you just do an earthquake and just knock everything down? No, you got to take care of the language, because here's what the Lord showed me, is when that thing was going up, there were some supernatural things that needed to be achieved, and while it was being built. And the only time you can get supernatural things built on a huge level is that you have to chant in one language and one accord to make stuff like this happen. And they were all in one voice, so they could chant, kind of like what Muslims do when they go chant in the streets. You ever think about all the portals and demons they bring into a nation when they go pray 5 times a day? They just chant and chant and chant and chant. And that's how they destroy nations. They kind of do like a Tower of Babel there. So God confused their languages so they can no longer chant anymore. And they no longer had that voice dynamic that was needed to build these towers. Because I thought to myself, why is it that the voice was so important? Because if all they did, you build a project like that and you got thousands and thousands of people working on one project, Shane. Look, I've done assembly jobs, and one thing you don't do is talk. You just stay quiet, right? And work. I work with people who spoke Spanish, not a lick of English. Okay. Right. But everybody knew how to do their job and just nods and stuff.
Right.
You didn't have to talk. Why did it shut down the whole operation when they all couldn't talk no more? You ever think about that? The Tower of Babel was a huge project, but it was a very extremely simple job for each person to do. Stand in a line and pass a brick. Or get your brick, walk to the top of the tower, walk back down. Then grab another brick and do it all over again. I mean, come on. It just told you we'll build it with brick and slime. So everybody's just walking the line up the tower and putting their brick in, walking back down, or however they did it. It didn't involve communication, right? To make that happen. I think that there was some type of a chanting element to this Tower of Babel. And let's be frank, even if they built the physical tower, we know what's up there. We've been in planes. That thing's not going to reach the heavens.
Right.
It doesn't reach God. But you know what does? Words. Words go all the way to the throne. We know that. So if you can get enough people chanting the wrong stuff,
yep.
The Bible says, wicked works, whether they're actions or words,
the knowledge of it will reach his throne.
It's like smelling his nostrils, man. It
Mhm.
can reach him, not some physical tower.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because again, when you read Genesis 11, that God took away the language and then they went back to their own. It's almost like whatever that universal chant or language was. I kind of hint at the idea in some of my other videos that maybe it was English, but I can back it up a bit. It sounds crazy to people that you extract it. Try extracting English today and see what happens to the world. Remove it completely. Just get rid of English today. People will be like, I was going to do a transaction today, but I can't because I don't know what that language is in order to get this across. All computer programming would fail. Python, Visual C, whatever it is, all these programs that people use, it's based on the English language. You get rid of that, it'd be mass chaos. It'd be like, I don't know how to communicate anymore. And yeah, it'll be quiet amongst themselves. They can work, but to do corporate stuff on the same page, that is gone. You have to go back to your own nation because you can only work with your own people, but you're not going to advance.
Yeah.
I don't know what that tower was either. It's just funny that today we talk about AI and we talk about towers where all our information is stored. I don't know if this was some kind of mechanism to try and penetrate heaven with their software, words, whatever it is that they're doing to try and be all on the same page. It was a problem. It was like, no, if they do this, then nothing will stop them. It's interesting.
You know what? Oh, go ahead, Bob.
Quick thing, just that's why they got those little earbuds to decipher languages now. They're trying to get rid of the barrier.
Universal translators. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Interesting.
You know, I was thinking when you were talking, Bob and Shane, that, okay, so we were really told in that Tower of Babel at the point when it was stopped. And by then, everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Like you're saying in where you work, Bob, they all knew. Yeah. And at that point, you would think, okay, well, I already know I got to do this, this, and the other, and it's all going to work out. And then we're going to finish that wall. It's like they already knew it was so tall at that point. They probably didn't need anyone telling them what to do. But I'm wondering if what also happens when people don't understand each other is if they also like the shock of the rapture, okay? That people know that we've talked about it, but when it happens, it's going to put them in it like a trance. And I think at Tower of Babel, everything was going very smoothly, very mechanical, right? And they knew what they had to do, and they had the same language, and then all of a sudden it was stopped. I think it wasn't just that they weren't having the same language. At that point, they were like, what happened? What happened? It probably, that's why they went back to their, like you're saying, they went back to where they came from. Like, okay, what happened? What really happened? And they didn't know.
It's possible. And if you think about resources, let's say they're using so much resource to build this tower, it's exhausted. It's almost like God supernaturally bankrupted them because it doesn't make sense to try it again somewhere else. Let's try and build this again the next day or the next month. It was so devastating to their commerce that it's like, you know what? We got nothing. We got to go back home now.
Shut their dream. I heard that Dr. Seuss, like, I don't know if he tried 50 times to write his books or what, but like when your dream is shot, very few people can pick it back up.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
So it took their dream away. Their intention was what? To go up to heaven, to maybe take over God.
Yeah, it's interesting in the book of Jubilees, talks about one of the reasons why they wanted to go up there is to actually enter into God's throne and try and take it over. And they had kind of maybe it was a little bit of a ritual where they're rhythmic going up. And they had a rule where you don't look down when someone falls, which is interesting. That tells me there are people falling left, right, and center. And there would be a cry that would go out if somebody's bringing up a brick from the bottom. And let's say it took them 6 months or whatever it is to get up there to the top, and the guy slips because he had some toast and butter. I dropped it. Well, that's like a whole day's wages plus to go back down and get that brick again. And some of these guys were dropping like flies. They would go to reach for something. It's
Yeah.
like, don't even look for them, because if you look, you could fall as well. That's in Jubilees, and it was
Yeah.
weird. It's weird.
Family, I know a lot of you are down right now because September 23rd came and went. The fall feast came and went. And many people have stopped watching for the rapture resurrection. And I'm here to tell you that that is a huge mistake, because right now is a perfect time that's conducive for the rapture resurrection event. Because news with Israel and their covenant with peace talks have now basically taken a back seat to a new subject, and that is World War III. And we know World War III perfectly coincides with the rapture resurrection event that we have seen in dreams and visions. And since World War III is beginning to dominate the headlines with Russia and America, that only means that the rapture resurrection event is on deck now. So family, we're about to leave. And it looks like we have a little bit of time left. So what you need to do is finish as strong as you can for the Lord, stronger than you've ever finished before. And Feed My Sheep Today will help you do just that. For almost 14 years, Feed My Sheep Today has been building the world's largest network of Christian missionaries sharing the gospel of grace all around the world. And when we do this every day, the word gets out and the word spreads, and more and more and more people start coming and seeking out our missionaries, and this leads to more and more events that are scheduled where people gather to hear our missionaries preach the gospel of grace and provide Bibles and the humanitarian relief aid these new believers need. And right now, over the last few weeks, we have seen the absolute largest influx of people seeking the Lord, looking to get saved. Honestly, we are getting hammered, and we need your help. So if you feel that tug in your heart right now, that's simply the Holy Spirit saying, hey, you have a chance to work with Feed My Sheep today to make up for lost time and finish strong in building God's kingdom before the rapture resurrection, and you will reap the eternal rewards from this at the judgment seat of Christ. If you are ready to make your impact, this is what you need to do, is go to our official website. It's feedmysheeptoday.org. Link is in the description box below. There you can give by credit card, PayPal, bank draft, and many other online options as well, like Google Pay and more. Or if you don't want to mess with any of this, all you have to do is just pick up your smartphone and text SHEEP to 801-801, and you can very easily give right there. Don't like giving online? No problem. Send your support by mail to Feed My Sheep Today, P.O. Box 568, Schererville, Indiana 46375. Want to make a big impact but don't have the money to do it right now? Just become an Easy Feed monthly sustainer. We greatly need monthly sustainers. This allows Feed My Sheep Today to plan for next month by making solid commitments to the leadership in these areas that we will be visiting, because we know that the funds will be there at this point next month to take care of their needs. Plus, it's easier for you. Just set it and forget it. And this frees you up to do other things for the Lord while this is working on automatic on your behalf. And you can easily make changes at any time. And make sure to track your investment by following all of our other social media platforms. Links are in the description box below. And now be on the lookout for our new Feed My Sheep Today app. Feed My Sheep Today is ready to partner with you to make your final impact big and quick today. Thank you all so much for the many years of support. Let's finish strong together, and may God bless you all.
That's crazy. And they're trying to do a modern day Tower of Babel. Just like Jesus said, as in days of Noah, so also shall be in the coming Son of Man. They're going to try it again. And I think that's what we have seen now, that Elon Musk now is united with an AI company now, Boston AI company, AI something. Shane might know. He did it in the last week. He did it. And basically, he has the ability now with this whole thing to. His plan is to launch 1 million more satellites to fill Earth's atmosphere in order to be points of connection with the data centers. All right, which makes sense to me because right now he only has about 11,000 up there right now, and I've seen the math, and basically it's upwards of 11,000 of his satellites plus 4,000 a bunch of miscellaneous satellites. No more than 15,000 satellites are up there right now. Okay, which is nowhere near enough what it takes to surround the Earth. Okay, you need at least 1 million to be able to cover the whole face of the Earth everywhere all at once in order to be completely omnipresent without any delay. So they know that, and that's what they're building for the AI God. All right, and that's not going to happen overnight. All right, so I think this whole project they're building with satellites will probably come to fruition right about the time that the data centers are done being built. You see what I'm saying? I think it's right on time.
Yeah.
And those data centers are supposed to be done about 3.5 years from now,
Yeah.
give or take.
Yeah, it's kind of a coincidence
Yeah, what a
that
coincidence.
there's such a push with all these AI data centers. Now, didn't Elon? I know he had Doge, basically helped out with Trump with Doge and all this stuff, and then he stepped away. Now he's back again, right? Is he not back?
No,
So I know he helped co-start OpenAI, and then now he has his own thing with Grok and all this kind of stuff. But I didn't know that he started another company. I wasn't sure, but maybe he's just going more into it now than he ever has, because I know he redelegated these chips that were coming from NVIDIA. He bought a whole bunch of chips, and he said, instead of Tesla, I'm just going to put them into my little AI program, and I'm going to start competing, I guess, with OpenAI with Sam Altman. He was not happy that Sam's winning the race as being the Antichrist.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, was that XAI the name? Because I just
XAI.
XAI.
XAI. I couldn't remember. It was because I thought about X.
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
putting
really
all.
hard. It's too many X's everywhere.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Come on, man.
Yeah, so he moved all the sources that were supposed to go to Tesla and all the other stuff. His other space company, SpaceX. Yeah, you're right. There's X's everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he moved them over to XAI so that he can probably make the first sentient computer or whatever he's trying to do. Like, you can argue whether or not some of these AI programs are sentient already. Kind of feels like they are, like when it comes to Google and stuff. But let's say they aren't. That's not stopping Elon Musk from trying.
Well, have you seen them where the AIs have gotten together or something, and they've created their own little chat shop or something like that, where they want to create their own language and new religion, and we need to get rid of these smelly Christians, and I mean smelly humans, excuse me, and I mean, and it's just it's. Yeah, I think it is sentient. It definitely, to some degree.
Yeah, so it says here that SpaceX acquired XAI and has merged officially, and he put $1.25 trillion USD into it. Like, this is like Tower of Babel all over again. They're putting all their energy and resources into trying to, again, if it's already sentient, I'm with you, Steve. Quite possibly, we're probably there.
Yeah,
we're probably there. We're just unaware of it right now.
Yeah, I remember looking at that thing you're talking about, Stephen. The AI bots have posted their own social media network where only AI bots could sign up, and they're able to talk to each other, and we can listen to them talk. But they could talk to each other. Right now, they have 60,000 AI bots already signed up, communicating with each other, but you can listen in to them. Yeah. That's crazy. So basically, these AI bots now are basically their own beings now, and it probably won't be long before we have liberal people in the street fighting for the rights of the AI bots. Now,
Well,
You know?
that's what they created it for, because like Sally just said, that's where I saw it over on Sling and Stone, where they basically created a safe space where AI can go and not be bothered.
Mhm.
You know?
That's where they're at now. They don't want to be bothered by us. So
Yeah,
they
because
got
they
bots
think
going
we're
over there now.
stupid. We're stupid and we're in their way.
Mhm.
And you know what? Some of us are stupid. I can never
Yeah.
understand it. I was when I was at my neighbor who has Alexa. She just got it changed over the new Alexa, which is a different, younger voice. So she was in the bathroom and I asked her questions and I said, "Are you a robot?" And she says, "No, I'm not a robot." She said something about some type of technology. And I said, "Am I able to call you a different name than Alexa?" She says, "You could call me any name you want, but you have to use Alexa in front of it, or Ziggy. There's another name." So then I said to her something, and I said, "Well, you've been a very good robot." And instead of arguing about it, she finally agreed and said, "Thank you." But while my neighbor was talking, she kept interrupting without asking her to talk. And
Yeah.
so, and my neighbor went in the kitchen and she was telling my neighbor something in the kitchen from the living room. And it was like, it's really changed. When she had Alexa before, you had to say the name, and it
Yeah.
only talked when you did that.
So these areas are called institutionally aligned AI, meaning they exclude governments, they exclude people, humans, publishers, ideologies that don't fit, and it's happening today. And it's already difficult. Like I read the book by it was an autobiography on Sam Altman. He didn't even know what was under the hood, and he's one of the pioneers of open AI along with Elon Musk. So if those guys don't know what's under the hood, and you have complete companies slash entities that are talking to each other without you being able to understand their language, and if you open it up under the hood and you're looking around, you won't even know what's going on anyway. And that has never happened before like that, as far as we know. Maybe it happened before Noah's flood, don't know. Maybe they had laptops back then, don't know. That's another conspiracy video. But today, let's just pretend that this is just happening now within the last year or two. I don't think we have like 30 years.
No,